I wash my soul in the ocean, in the tears of God, I let it go.
Hello, my Astro family. This is your August 2020 horoscope, and things are getting interesting again. The war of the planets is beginning. The big players, Saturn, Mars, Jupiter, and Pluto, will hold a difficult square aspect in the sky for almost 2 months, starting from the middle of August. Things will heat up around the world. I expect riots, I expect rebellions, I expect clashes between governments and people, and things might get quite violent. But on the personal level, we're gonna look now how it's going to affect you in the personal level, and I'll give you suggestions and remedies. So don't worry. Personally, everyone usually has higher vibration than collectively, so we can do much better with those challenging aspects. Plus, there is a huge cosmic release of karma in certain area of your life where things are completing and ending. We'll talk about that. The galactic center aligns with the planet of karma, huge things. But before I start, I just wanted to let you know that my first book, my first electronic book, is out. It's about the planetary aspects in the natal horoscopes interpretation. Say if you're born when Jupiter was conjunct the Sun or square Venus or whatever, all those explanations are there. I wrote it with my teacher over. It took us 1 year, so it's now discounted for the first 2 weeks. Whoever orders it, it's very affordable price, so I'm excited. My first ever book. And also we're doing a webinar on August the 13th with Krasi, how to interpret your Babylonian horoscope, how to interpret your natal horoscope according to the ancient method. It's going to be 5-6 hours, very practical. We'll work with personal charts of the people there. We'll read personal lives and examples, so it's gonna be very hands-on. So now let's begin with August 2020. Sagittarius, Sun, Moon, Rising, August 2020. Let's start with the harder things. Saturn square Mars is happening, guys. It does not affect you directly like your sign, but it still affects certain areas of your life. So I want to advise you from the middle of August onwards till the middle of November. That will be 3 months. So September, October, November, yes, 3 months. I want you to warn you to be a bit more cautious with finances, because the squares are going to be happening in financial houses for you, the second and the fifth. Let's talk a little bit about that. Saturn, Jupiter, and Pluto in your second house. There is big focus on finances and financial stability for you. It's been happening for a while. Maybe you're worrying more about that. Maybe you're initiating and working on some projects to create more financial stability. Educate yourself about resources. So you're thinking very practical. But Mars is activating this from the fifth house, squaring it. So there might be some losses or some expenses that are coming to you. Maybe because you have to invest in something that is fifth housey. That might stress you. For example, you might be investing in some creative project or turning some hobby, fifth house, into a career. Or because you might be spending on children. Maybe a child of yours will have the need for more expenditure. Or you might be just spending on lovers or boyfriends and dating or having more fun. That's another possibility. It can happen. Another thing is that I want you to be careful with speculative investment. Mars transit in your fifth house will make you more willing to, let me get some stocks. Fifth house is stock markets and stuff, and I'm gonna make a big win now. I'm gonna get those bitcoins or whatever, and it's gonna just go pff. But I want you to be careful, because Mars is making quite difficult aspects there from this fifth house of speculative investments from the middle of August till, again, as I said, maybe till the middle of October. And so that can, some speculative investment or even gambling like behaviors can threaten your financial security or just frustrate you for some time. But just be a bit more, if possible, more traditional with your money, be a bit more reasonable, don't take big risks, and things can be okay. But if there are some expenses, you're forewarned, so don't stress out. I think at the end things will play out really well because both planets are in their own sign. So despite of their planetary war, I think the final results can be quite good at the end. You might, even after some financial surprises, or not financial, they might be connected to possessions. So sometimes there might be some possession that you find valuable that gets damaged, or some kind of fight happening over resources or finances or possessions. Uh, but don't get frustrated, because at the end, the changes that those planets will make you move can create a lot more financial stability for you after initial frustration and having to overcome hoops and loops. Or another way, you can create your own business and lay the foundations of your own business, because Mars is transiting your fifth house. It's like to create your own baby. The fifth house is to give birth to something new, which is your own creative ideas usually. And you're very excited and passionate about that, but Mars receives hard aspects. So it means like what can frustrate you is, financial worries and financial where to find the money to invest for it, for example, because Saturn and Jupiter squaring it from your second house here. Or you might be just having to jump some hoops, some frustrations while you're trying to move forward with your creative projects and business project of the fifth house of your own original ideas, because you're, not only financial considerations, but Saturn can indicate because of authorities, because of restrictions, because of the overall economic situation, because of the bureaucratic and law and rules and regulations that you have to take into consideration. And unfortunately, you have to do them. It's both planets are very strong. You can't escape it, so you have to forge forward with projects, with your creative projects, business projects, but also you have to be certain that you respect the rules of Saturn, like I said. The fifth house is, I don't know if we talked about that, is children as well. So Saturn receiving difficult aspects from your fifth house can indicate that your children might be stressing you more. They might be starting or doing something that is maybe more demanding, that might require you even to put some help and efforts there, that they might be going through some difficulties you have to help them with, some kind of a new birthing process, and that requires your attention. And it might indicate that you're fighting more with your child as well. So while Saturn is squaring Mars, so tensions there with loved ones, with boyfriends, girlfriends as well. If you're married, it will be your husband or your wife, the fifth house, your loved one. So Mars there receiving hard aspects, especially because of diverging values. You see, you value something, they value something differently. So there might be tensions, what you consider worth, what they consider worth, but power struggles, Mars in the fifth house from the middle of August square your children, basically, with loved ones, boyfriends, girlfriends, and such matters. So you might be fighting because of money, and sometimes because the Saturn and Jupiter in the second house of finances. But again, as I said, the final result might be quite good. You might end up, after this difficult aspects fall through, you might, for example, have removed a romantic interest that is not good for you. Or you might have completed a really great, by November, December, really great creative project, and you've overcome all the difficulties and the hoops, and you did everything correctly, and you end up with your own business or a great product and better financial situation. But while it is happening, it's tough. So you need to step more carefully, to think through your steps more. Okay. Let's see what is next. If you're, and of course, with Mars in your fifth house, there might be a new romantic interest, definitely, for sure. More youthful, more feisty, more excitable, more sexual, and Mars wants to renew your sex life there, having fun as well. Mars wants you to go out and pursue fun activities and fun hobbies as well, and especially more physical ones, like a sport that you do not to keep fit, but to enjoy yourself. So you can discover, well, Mars in your fifth house, amazing, like that you really love running, or that you really love playing something more dynamic, that competing of some sort. And that will be a great relief, actually, from the tension that is happening between Saturn and Mars, your planet, and Jupiter, sorry, your planet. Uh, and so, like, releasing it in the court, or, in the gym, sorry, not in the court. and, uh, and romantically, as I said, this Mars, this is another way it can play out. You might have a new romantic interest, but Saturn, Jupiter in your second house, which is connected to family, they might be resisting that. They might be like, you know, or there might be some clash between your traditions and your new romantic partner, or your new approach to romantic relationships and the traditions in your family, which is the second house that is creating this tension over the next few couple of months, basically. Or your romantic partner might be battling with your own traditions and and what you consider valuable. But definitely it can indicate a new, with some tensions and some ups and downs, definitely. All right, and then you're going to have, Sagittarius, the south node in your sign, passing through the galactic center. That's why you're the wisest sign, I would say, because the galactic center is stored in your constellation and in your sign tropically currently. So you're the bringers of higher wisdom to us. You're, you carry the Father energy, the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. The Father energy is the galactic center. The Sun energy is our Sun, and so basically you are the you're like a mouthpiece for divine wisdom in this incarnation currently for humanity. And the planet of karma, past karma, the south node, is aligning with the galactic center. So especially for Cancer, this can be a period that something happens in August, and it happens only once in 19 years, that liberates you from a big karmic burden, something that you've been carrying, especially old beliefs that have been restricting you, that have played a good role for you. Maybe they kept you safe, or maybe they gave you good successes in the past to past lifetimes, but they're outdated now. Your ideologies, your beliefs, your understanding about the world and who you are, because it's in your sign, Sagittarius. So who you think you are, who you believe you are, who you believe your role is here, can suddenly over August and maybe September, and maybe it has started already because the South Node takes like 2-3 months to pass the galactic center. It's like you're awakening and you find a new slate, and you're like, wow, it's the past was erased, or wow, it's like release from some karmic debt you've had or karmic burden. And it might happen through some crisis though, because the galactic center and Mars are very turbulent energies, so it might create some stress or some kind of a crisis that suddenly you find yourself liberated from unhealthy old beliefs, from a burden. It's like you're gonna get lighter suddenly, but yeah, but tumultuous. And interesting, what else is interesting for you? Oh yes, there is a new moon in your ninth house, guys, around the 18th of August, involving Mercury, the sun, and the moon. That's what a new moon is. So something new is being born there in this ninth house. You might discover great interest or passion to study something new towards the end of the month and into September. You can discover some excitement about either astrology, or to pre-qualify, to get some new degree, or to just start studying about the universe, or to subscribe for a channel like Gaia, or expanding you, or get some coaching or crash courses. That's why maybe come and join me with Karasi on our crash course on how to read your ancient Babylonian zodiac on the 13th of August. But definitely you're starting to expand your mind. You see this burning of the old karma happening in the first house. It's like rejuvenation of you. The old's going, the old is burning away from you. You're letting it go. The South Node passing through the galactic center will allow you to let go so much burden, but something new is being born into this ninth house of inspirations. It's again the house of God. Look how it's connected. The ninth house is the house of Sagittarius. So you might find feeling a lot more like yourself this month. You might find yourself feeling a lot like you're inspired, you're willing to have adventures, you are quite open-minded, and your horizons start expanding, like new interesting people coming into your life with this new moon, because especially people that you've never met before, people that not from your close environment. They might be foreigners, they might be people from very different social background, very different color of skin or beliefs, so very different political. You might start opening yourself for a different political belief system, different world system, exploring different. It's like, for example, you might turn from Republican to liberal, from liberal to Republican, or you might turn to, you might start becoming open to embracing, and you're naturally very open-minded. You're not the bigots, definitely. Or you might find yourself wanting to preach or teach or get involved in, spreading knowledge from the end of the month. Or you can initiate some teaching actions after the 18th, or teaching project of some sort, education or higher knowledge. So, or even travel. Some of you might be able to travel to a foreign country, yeah, with this nine house being activated, an opportunity for foreign investment, or a foreign business, or a foreign travel, or something connected with a foreign country or a different state. Some might even think of relocation of some sort. That starts opening towards the end of August. An educational opportunity, or some piece of information coming to you connected about getting documents or papers for foreign residents, can come with this new moon, because Mercury is there involved, for foreign relocation. All right, and yeah, there you go. Venus is in your 8th house. You can receive support from another person, maybe financial as well, maybe psychological, or you can even have a little bit more intimate, share some secrets with someone, intimate conversation, feeling more intimate connection, or secret private sexual experience. Sagittarius, when Venus enters your 8th house for 2-3 weeks, or some benefit from taxes or from other people's resources and money that comes to you, or a gift to you that comes from others. Thank you so much, and do check out my first PDF book on aspects in the natal horoscope, how to interpret them.